Hi, my dear students. Today we are going to talk about comparing decimals. Here, I just want to remind you by some important points. Here we have the place value chart, where we can find the ones, then the tens, then the hundreds, and the thousands. All of this to the left of the decimal point, and to the right of the decimal point, we can find the tenths, the hundredths, and the thousandths. Also, as well, we need to revise these points, the greater than and the less than. You have to know that the mouth is opened towards the big number or is going to eat the big number. Okay, let's talk about equivalent decimals. Equivalent decimals means equal decimals. How can we say that the two decimals are equal? Let's have an example. 0.60 and 0.6. The first one is read as 60/100th and the second one is read as 6/10th. So they are both different in the word form. Let's see if they can be equal or equivalent decimals or not. I just need to represent them using this chart. We have here two similar rectangles. They are similar in the size. And the first one is divided into 100 equal parts, and we colored 60 parts. And the second one is divided into 10 equal parts, and we colored 6 parts. So let's look at the two shaded parts in both rectangles. You will notice that here, both of them are equal, the two shaded parts. That means that 60/100th is the same as 6/10th. They are the same value. So here we can say that they are equivalent decimals. So adding zeros or zero or more zeros to a decimal number doesn't matter. So this means that if you place any zero or more to the right of the digit in the decimal, that doesn't change the value of the decimal. So when you order or compare any decimal numbers, take care that they should have the same decimal places, and you can make this by adding zero or more. Let's have an example. We have here a table for some students' scores. I just want to compare between Sarah's score and Danny's score. 42.1 is Sarah's score and Danny's score is 42.5. To compare between the two numbers, let's line them up. So 42.1 and 42.5, I line them up such that the two decimal points are exactly above each other. Let's compare the two numbers. You will find the whole part in both numbers are 42. So let's go to the decimal part. The decimal part in the first one is 1. And the decimal part in the second number is 5. So of course 1 is less than 5. So we can say that 42.1 is smaller than 42.5. So here Sarah's score was lower than Dan's score. If you want to check this by the number line, so you are going to put 42.1 after the 42 exactly by 1 dash, while 42.5 is put after the 42 by 5 dashes. And as you know, as we move to the right of the number line, the number gets bigger. And as we move to the left of the number line, the number gets smaller. So this is another way to compare between the two numbers. And in both ways, you will find that 42.1 is smaller than 42.5. Okay, so what do I mean to compare decimals? To put the sign between them, which is less than or greater than or equal. And comparing decimals is the same as comparing whole numbers. Okay, let's have an example. Order 15, 14.95, 15.8, and 15.01 from the least to the greatest. As we mentioned before, you have to line the decimals up. So we're gonna line them like that, such that the decimal points are all exactly above each other. and such that the place value of the numbers are the same, lined up under each other. We will see that the first number, which is 15, has no decimal point. So we can put the decimal point at the end so as not to change its value. So it's 15 point. And after the decimal point, how many zeros do we need to add? That depends on the number of digits after the decimal in the rest of the numbers, because we have to make them all the same to be able to compare them or order them here. So if you checked, you will find that the maximum number of digits after the decimal point is 2 digits. So we're gonna place more zeros to make them all 2 digits after the decimal. So here we add 0.00, and in the 15.8 we just add 1 0. Then now we are able to order them according to their place value. And the order will be 14.95, then 15, then 15.01, then at the end 15.8. To check your understanding here, you can practice more by comparing those numbers by the same way. You have to line them up, then check the number of decimal places, and then put the sign. So in the first one here, we have the same number of decimal places, so we'll find that 0.5 is greater. In the second one, we have only one decimal place in the first number, and in the second one, we have 2 decimal places. So we need to add 0 to the first number. So now it's 2.70 and 2.07. So which one is greater? Going to the decimal part, 70 of course is greater than 7. The third one, easily, we don't need to add any zeros. So 3800th is greater, of course. The last one, 25 and 5/10ths, and the second one is 25 and 50/100th. That's why we're gonna add another 0 in the first number. So it's gonna be 25 and 50/100th as well. So it's clear that they are equal. Let's move to page 7 from our booklet. Here in the first one, we have the place value chart, and already the numbers are lined up according to the place value chart. So I just need to fill in the spaces. So which one is greater? You just look at the two numbers and you will find by comparing the two numbers here in the whole number part, 5 is always greater than 4. So we're gonna place the 5 and 78,000th is greater than 4.087. And by placing the two numbers, we can put the sign greater than. By the same way, looking at the second example here, or the second question, 0.654 is less than 0.945. So placing the two numbers, we will put the sign less than between them. So remember to line the numbers up, compare the number of decimal places so as to make them all the same. Then you have to compare the whole number part. If they are equal, go to the decimal part and compare them. So never stop learning, and see you the next video. Thank you and goodbye.